Hello, my name is Diana Torres Ortiz, and these are my partners.
I'm Wendy Escobar.
I'm Dulce María Castro.
And I'm Faith Alexandria Remolino.
And we're doing our presentation on animal phylogeny on comparative anatomies of a frog and worm.
So for the frog, the taxonomy name is Rana Ferreri. The kingdom is Animalia, and it's a part of the Chordata phylum. Its class is Amphibia. The order is Anura. The family is Ranidae. The genus is Rana, and the species is amphibians.
So for the ecology and morphology of a frog, its general ecology is that it can be found in aquatic habitats such as streams, ponds, and lakes. And its fertilized eggs are often deposited in water. And its external morphology is that it shares external features with the tetrapods. Frogs have two pairs of limbs, one being the anterior arms and the posterior legs. It has three segments, a head, a trunk, and a tail. And it has a short, rigid neck, which causes it to have limited head movements. Another characteristic of a frog is that it has palmate or webbed feet, which is ideal for swimming since it does live in an aquatic habitat. It has posterior legs, which are much stronger than its anterior arms because they are used for running and jumping. And lastly, they have soft, thin, membranous skin under which an extensive network of blood vessels runs in order to supply oxygen directly into the organism's blood. For the anatomy and physiology of a frog, it has striated muscles in its skull and a colon cavity that is filled with liquid. In its mouth, it rarely uses its teeth, but it is located in its upper jaw. It has a sticky tongue, which is ideal for helping the frog hunt its prey. It has an esophagus, which enables it with food transport, and a small intestine, which the process of digestion occurs. Its liver organ is used for metabolism, protein storage, and blood protein synthesis, and its gallbladder stores bile that comes from the liver. The frog's pancreas produces digestive enzymes and hormones for the organism. In a frog's circulatory system, it has a three-chambered heart containing a left and right atriums and one ventricle that passes through those. And its respiratory system is mainly functions through its skin and its lungs.
The frog also has kidneys for urine excretion. The reproductive system includes the testes, the sperm ducts, and cloaca in the male, and ovaries, oviducts, and the cloaca in the female. It has a closed circulatory system that allows blood and fluids to stay in the vessels, and they're exchanged with oxygen and nutrients through gas exchange. Blood is transported through the skin for gas exchange to occur, and blood flow in the frog goes from the right atrium to the left atrium and then to the ventricle. The nervous system includes the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. Their locomotion is by leaping and propelling through the air. Their axial skeleton includes the skull, the vertebral column, and the sternum. Their appendicular skeleton has the pectoral and the pelvic girdles. Their knees are made of fibrous cartilage. They have a gimbal joint at the hip, a universal hooks joint at the knee, pin joints at the ankle, and intra-articular ligaments. They also have tendons that wrap around their ankles. Their muscles are comprised narrow and wide elongated fiber, which are made of striated tissue in order for them to move. In this slide, you can see a comparison of our frog dissection on the left compared to another frog dissection, which shows all the organs that are labeled.
And then next, we are doing the taxonomy of an earthworm. So the earthworm's phylum is an annelid, and the earthworm's kingdom is an Animalia. Its class is Eclatata. Its order is an Opisthophora. Its family is a Lumbricidia. Its genus is a Lumbricus. Its species is a Lumbricus terrestris. And earthworms are able to live anywhere that has moist soil and dead plant material, but the species in which we dissected in class mainly is seen in Europe, but now is distributed throughout North America.
So now moving on to the earthworm's anatomy. The mouth is located on the ventral surface of the first segment and is also found in the prostomium, which is the tip of the earthworm. The pharynx is located near the mouth. It is what helps the earthworm swallow its food. The esophagus is located near the mouth, right under the pharynx of the earthworm. The crop is a sac where the food is temporarily stored and can be found right after the esophagus as well. The gizzard is located under the crop, and because of its muscular walls, that is what helps grind the food. Its intestines of the earthworm start from the gizzard and follow down to the anus. For the respiratory system, the earthworm breathes through their skin since they do not have lungs. And to breathe, they need to have moist skin so dissolved oxygen can go through and into their bloodstream. The circulatory system of the earthworm has a closed circulatory system. It circulates blood exclusively through vessels. The earthworm has 5 pseudohearts, and each heart has 1 chamber. They are located in front of the worm near the mouth of the earthworm. In the earthworm, blood flows forward in the mid-dorsal blood vessel. In the mid-ventral non-contractile vessel, blood flows backwards. In the 5 segments, the blood flows from the ventral to the dorsal vessel through the capillaries of the digestive tube and the body wall.
So next, I'm going to talk about the nervous system of an earthworm. So an earthworm, it does contain a brain, but it is not very complex at all. The earthworm contains a very simple central nervous system that only contains a ventral nerve cord that runs through the length of an earthworm. And the earthworm has an escape and or startle reflexes. And then the excretory and reproductive systems of an earthworm. So earthworms do not have kidneys, but they do have something similar that kind of replaces or is in place of a kidney. And it's called nephrodia, and it filters out dead cells and other wastes. And then all earthworms have uteruses because there are hermaphrodites. Earthworms carry both male and female reproductive organs because, like I said before, they are hermaphrodites, so they all have both ovaries, testes, and a prostate. And then as you see on the slides, those pictures are the pictures of our dissection results of our earthworm that me and my partner dissected in class, and they're just different angles of what we were able to see at when we opened it.
For the general comparison, we found that the frog and the earthworm both share similar function of gas exchange, meaning they both breathe through their skin. Other structures we found they have in common are the mouth, the esophagus, the small intestine, and the anus. In the earthworm, we believe that the unique feature would be the worm having an open circulatory system as it can breathe through its skin. A feature that was unique to a frog was that it has 3 chambers in the heart instead of 4. According to the phylogenetic tree, the worm is a part of the Annelida phylum and the frog is a part of the Chordata phylum. Because of this, we believe that the most recent common ancestor is the Bilateria.
And In our presentation, we were told to make a prediction of what we thought may have caused our animals to evolve different features at the point of the last common ancestor. So our thoughts were, in order to adapt to living on land, both species had to develop ways to survive. For example, the frog and the worm both needed to find a way to maintain moist skin to prevent the skin from drying out and being able to have oxygen pass through. We believe that the only difference is that the frog would develop more complex structures, such as like legs, to be able to jump on land, and worms just stayed a simpler form.
And this is a slide of our resource page where we gathered all our resources that we used on our presentation today. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.